Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Welcome to the Breakdown Extra. It's Wednesday night, and we've got lots to discuss. As always, thank you very much for coming back. Thank you very much for subscribing, liking, sharing the video. It all helps us with the old algorithms. I am joined by, after the most mental hour of my life, some crazy stuff been happening in the last hour or so. Very exciting stuff, but stuff that I hadn't expected. And more to follow next week, I guess, mate, isn't it? But I'm joined by Matthew Angel. How are you?
Better tonight than I was last night, buddy. But yes, well, no doubt we'll dig deep into that. But no, I'm good. But halfway through the week, so yeah, happy hump day, as they say.
Every day's hump day, mate. Every day's hump day. Every day's Palm Sunday. What can I say? No, look, yesterday, like it was painful to watch, mate, in many ways. And do you know what really, I guess, was disappointing was it should have been an evening of celebration and excitement. You know, record breaking young players playing for the football club, both of which, did really, really well considering their age. You know, they're literal children. Like I can say that a lot, but they are literal children, and it's one of them where you got to be patient with them. And look, we had how many debutants? You know, Will Spears hasn't played a competitive game for the first team. TJ Parfitt's debut. Troy Perez got one game for the first team. You know, it's the list goes on. Tankovic is 16, making his debut. Kellyman, is young. He hasn't played much, not fit. Like you needed that. He's clearly he had gone for an experienced spine, right? He's gone Chambers, Fish, Wintle, Turnbull, Salic. Like that spine is full of experience. I know Will Fish and Turner are young, but generally speaking, it's full of experience. And you needed them players to carry the load and to help the young players settle.
100% agree with you, but I think probably our senior players let us down a little bit last night. I think body language and things like that, it didn't look as if they wanted to be out there. And I don't want to be too negative, but it's difficult not to be. Because like you said, last night should have been about the young players that we had out there. Obviously, you had Robert, you'd have to excuse the pronunciation, Tankovic, break Aaron Ramsey's record, only to lose it then when young Axel come on. But, that night should have been all about them last night. And, when you looked at the squad, you would have thought we would have had more than enough quality. And that's no disrespect to Newport. But Newport come and they wanted to play football. And, we went in 1-0 down at half time. And I honestly think we were lucky to go in 1-0 down.
Yeah, I mean, Turner made a wicked save, didn't he, in the first half, up in the top right corner.
Could have been a lot worse. So,
funny enough, mate, I said, well, the one thing I say to my boys' youth team every week before they go out onto the pitch is I say, if the opponent's wanting more, doesn't matter how good you are, if they want it more, they will win because you have to earn the right to play football. And, the physicality side of it, when you've got a 16-year-old, he's going to get physically out-muscled at times. Like, it's just nature of the beast. Unless he's a freak of nature like Wayne Rooney or someone like that, who's got a body of a grown man at that age. It's natural. But to me, so like Matthew Turner didn't deserve to be on a losing team. Will Fish, I thought was fine, although he looks so much more nervous when he's not playing with Dylan Lawler, which I think is an issue because he has to be able to play with other people. But I think it also speaks to how important Dylan Lawler is to this team, and as is Ruben Caldwell, by the way. We look lost without Ruben in the midfield, and people can criticize him and say he hasn't been as good recently or whatever. But you take him out of the midfield, and we look lost. We look clueless on how to create, how to progress the ball. And that is a problem, mate, because let me put it to you this way. You know how much I rate the manager. You know how highly I think of him. I couldn't understand how he didn't change the central midfield last night at any point during the game. That was baffling to me, especially because he had options and didn't take them.
What worried me was the fact I think it was Burton last week and Turnbull and Wintle both started then, and it was exactly the same issue. I know they parked 10 or 11 players behind the ball, if you want to say that. But we just didn't have no creativity in midfield. Now, I'm not one for tactics and positioning and that. I leave all that down to yourself because that's your baby. But I thought, Kellyman, Spears, Parfitt, they were so wide last night, weren't they? They didn't come off the touchline. But go on.
I was going to say that they do that every week. Like the wingers, they have like paint on their feet, on their boots, like because they're always on the touchline. But what I will say is, we've lost 3 home games of the last 4, 2 of which to teams right down the bottom of their respective leagues, and the midfield has been the same in each. Well, the midfield 2 has been the same in each of those games. That's a problem. And when you've got Alex Robertson not playing and going to Australia because he needs football, and you've got obviously Ruben and Joel are not available, you have to find a way. David Turnbull, I tried to be very patient with him because I do think there's a really good technical footballer in there. He had a little spell where he looked pretty good when the team was looking good, but just not good enough, mate, honestly, and that's a problem. And equally, since the manager veered away, I know yesterday is different, but just talking generally, league form, since the manager started tinkering more, we have had some more problems. Like when it was Dylan and Fish, Bagan, Capacchio, Trott, Wintle, Colwell brothers, Ashford and Willock, say, and Salic or Robinson, like that spine was pretty much the same for the majority of the games where we didn't concede goals, we scored goals, and we looked confident and solid, and we looked on the front foot. We were moving the ball quickly. Since that started tinkering with the centre-back pairings, I understand Joel Colwell can't play the whole game, like every game. I do, but Turnbull looks better off the bench to me. Like he did all right on Saturday off the bench. But when he starts, we're just too slow. And I really wanted to see, I know, look, it's me, it's a personal thing, this is, but I really wanted to see Matthew Apter come on yesterday because having watched him for the 21s, he is physically ready. Like he's strong and he's technically good. So for me, that was a no-brainer. So I was disappointed. We're giving kids debuts. That's fine. I don't have any issue with that whatsoever. But when you've got an under 21 on the bench who can give you something to change the game or to change the momentum of the game or just change the way you're playing a little bit, like a bit of energy and physicality, it's disappointing not to see that. And we lost to bottom of the league. They haven't won a game since August, mate. They were always going to be bang up for it. I said that in my preview. They're going to be up for it because it's a free hit for them. And if they can win, it kickstarts them, doesn't it? Because it's a big, like, derby win.
Yeah, it was just disappointing. Like I said, try and focus on the positives for me that we give the youngsters a go. But like I said, it was painful to watch, really. You've seen some of the comments and things on Facebook and other social media platforms, and don't agree with 95% of the stuff I've seen, if I'm honest. But I think, when you've got fans paying good, money to go down to watch, you expect a better performance than that last night. And again, like I said, not taking anything away from Newport, they come and they've done a job on us. Simple as that. You can whinge and moan about our players not being there and the game shouldn't have been played, but at the end of the day, we should have had enough quality in our side last night to have put up more of a fight then, should we say.
And I think, look, one thing I will say about Turnbull is he's looked most effective when he's played alongside Ruben late in games when we've gone a bit more attacking, when we needed a goal, and Ruben and him have played as a two. Turnbull seems to be a bit more effective then, but it could just be that it's late in the game and stuff.
But nothing changed yesterday late in the game when we're chasing that goal. We're still tippy-tapping it around at the back. There didn't seem any urgency there to get that ball or try to get the ball forward. we're still happy, tippy-tappy, side to side.
Do you know what worried me, mate? Was that late in the game, we seemed to be giving it to Donkzu for him, just almost like we do to Ruben, where you just like give him the ball. It's like, go create something. But the difference is he's 15. That was worrying to me, that none of the, the experienced players wanted to take the game on by the scruff of the neck.
I think Robertson had a go when he did come on. He was coming back into the pocket and things. And I think that's probably the worst game we've seen Salah play in a Cardiff shirt last night.
Yeah.
And I know we're not, you're criticising people. It's just performance. Disappointed in his performance last night, really. I think Robinson looked as if he wanted to get on the ball a bit more when he came on. Should have scored his header at the back post.
Yeah, but both of them missed free headers, didn't they? Just outside the 6-yard box, Robinson and Salic. I know Salic's was a little bit behind him, but got to score them. Like, got a free header in the box. That's his bread and butter. And Robinson will be disappointed because he was completely free. But it's just one of them games. And look, as much as there's negatives and it's a disappointing result, I think the disappointing trend, I think, is also a worry, because there's another home game with another poor performance. But I accept that there's, last night's different. It's a completely, anytime you make 10 changes is going to be a bit disjointed and all over the place. I think what was disappointing is after half time, we didn't really see a reaction or like a urgency, really. There wasn't like a period like you were like, we felt like we'd pinned them down and we were on top. It always felt like they were just soaking up the pressure, trying to hit us on the break. And
again, they looked dangerous on the break as well a couple of times yesterday, and could have punished us again. And
well, mate, just on that, I want to talk about a couple of the youngsters. Like, if it wasn't for TJ Parfitt in the first half, we could have been done, mate. And Matthew Turner. Like, there was a point where Chambers had the ball on the halfway line, and he had like a couple of passes on, nothing, massively. And instead, he tried to dribble through 3 Newport players. I don't really have an issue with him trying to dribble and take the ball forward and be aggressive. What I have a problem with is he did it with no one behind him, knowing that if he lost the ball, they were in. He loses the ball, they're in. And luckily, Matthew Turner makes the save 1-on-1. But I mean, that's your captain, like the highest paid player at the club. It just felt like a bit like they didn't really care. And I do get it.
Should Fish take some of the thing for that as well and filling in once he's taken that ball forward? Do you know what I mean? It's a difficult one. Well,
he was there, but he can't come too far across because then he leaves the gap on the other side. He's got to hold his position. But I suppose he can come across. But maybe he's not expecting his centre back to try and dribble through 3, but I don't know. But
I think he must have been jealous of Dylan Lawler's goal on Saturday, and he wanted to try and beat it.
He wanted to show he was as good. But so on that, let's talk about some of the youngsters. I thought Will Spears, who looked really impressive in pre-season, by the way. I thought first half he had a tricky half. I don't think he was poor or bad or anything. Thought he did quite well, but he had some tricky moments. Probably partially because I don't think Kellyman perhaps gives the protection that an Isaac Davis or Keir Ashford gives going backwards. But I thought he was, a bit like Capaccio actually on Saturday. Difficult first half. Second half, for 20 minutes before he went off, I thought Spears was really good. Him and Kellyman, he was overlapping Kellyman. Unfortunately, Kellyman's...
I thought he looked knackered after the first 5 minutes of the second half. That 15 minutes break probably didn't do him any good, and I don't know. Again, at that level, I don't know whether they stiffen up on that or whatever. But I think he went down early in the second half, and I'm sure he was looking over to the bench, and he's not
fit, mate. He's not fit. He's nowhere near fit. He's nowhere near match sharp. But I think people got overexcited about his performance Saturday. And look, rightly so. It was his best performance in a Cardiff shirt on Saturday. He looked dangerous and direct and skillful. But actually, if you rewatch it, it was like 2 or 3 moments, touches. It wasn't like, give him the ball every sort of minute, and he was going and going. It was like he did it a couple of times, and he was blowing by the end of it. One thing I will say about Caddyman is his corners are very, very good. He drops it on the keeper, and twice he did it last night in the second half. And all the centre halves are on the edge of the box. Salic is like on a penalty spot, and you're like, all right, the first one, you go, okay. Second one, why is there no one there? Like, it's schoolboy stuff. But going back to Spears, I thought he did very well in the second half, particularly. TJ Parfait, I thought was man of the match for us by quite a long way as well. I thought he was excellent. And maybe that's why we didn't sign a left back, because you've got that sort of talent behind Louis Giles that they feel that there's enough youngsters there to cover. I don't know, but I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, agreed. I thought he was very good. And, having a left foot defender has proven to be difficult to find, really. So I think
he's a centre back as well.
Yeah, need to nurture him as much as we can. And hopefully, we'll progress and onto bigger and better things with us. But for his first performance in a senior shirt, he didn't let himself down. Fair play to him.
No, he was good. And I thought Kingdon, who come on at right back for Spears in the second half, I thought he was excellent as well going forward. He looked really dangerous. I believe he's a centre back as well, which is ironic. And then obviously Tankovic starts age 16. Like, I can't even fathom the pressure that he was feeling. I don't care what anyone says, the nerves and everything. Like, so young. And, I'm sure his family were proud. But, mate, I struggle watching my boys play football at grassroots level. Even more when they used to play academy football.
I'm not dissing the young man at all, but you could tell he was a young man, couldn't you?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, he's still a child. But, we've heard great things about him. And like I said, 16, he's still developing. I think he just lacked perhaps a little bit of confidence yesterday and perhaps didn't want to do too much or perhaps was nervous to do too much. But, yeah, he's another bright prospect for the future.
You could see, I think, in the first couple of minutes, the Newport fullback just walloped into him on the touchline, pushed him over, and it went out. It was a throw-in or whatever. But you could see they were going to try and sort of intimidate him a little bit. And I thought he was very tidy on the ball. He didn't really do too much. You could see he was just trying to keep hold of it. And I get that. Like, it's unbelievable. And obviously he's a centre midfield, sorry. So he's not a left-sided winger really, but you're not going to play him in midfield, are you? But I thought he was tidy, and he didn't do anything wrong, and he worked hard and he tried, and that's all you can ask of them. I thought Troy Perrett did okay. I didn't think he was quite as effective as he has been, or he was in the last game he played for the first team. Didn't quite manage to get on the ball as much. But I think that's more because the Turnbull behind him either goes backwards or gives it away. So Troy Perrett's never going to get on the ball then, is he? Because you haven't got a Dylan Lawler in defence who's going to get it into him. So he was struggling to get on the ball. Kellyman, he's just not fit, and I feel for him in many ways.
Yeah, there's a player there without shadow, without some of the touches and things we've seen on Saturday. But I just, like you said, 45, 50 minutes, he was spent really. And until he builds his fitness up, are we going to see him just playing 20, 25 minutes coming off the bench on a Saturday? It's looking that way for me at the moment. I don't think he's got 60, 70 minutes in him at the moment.
No, he hasn't.
Especially, playing at and again, no disrespect, playing League One is going to be a bit different to the game they played last night, really.
Absolutely, mate. And I thought then you had like Donksu come on in the second half, 15 years old, breaks the record. I thought he was really good. I was really impressed by him for someone that young.
He looked hungry, didn't he? When he had the ball at his feet, he was looking to try and beat players and go past players where perhaps
he nearly stuck it in the top corner, didn't he? Like, I don't know how far out it was.
Afraid to have a go, and that's what you want. Can you imagine what that feeling would have been like for him if that had, nestled in the top corner or bottom corner or whatever, scoring in front of the Canton, 15 years of age? It's not even what dreams are made of. You can't even begin to
Well, no 15-year-old expects to be playing first team football, do they? For their club, even though if they're in the academy. I think. Look, I was a bit irritated. I got to say, I was in a different part of the ground because of the cup game, and I was a bit irritated by some of the comments I heard regarding, Tankovic and people saying he's not good enough and he's too weak and all this. And I'm like, fuck me, he's a child. Like, why aren't you getting behind the young players? Like, that was really irritating to me. But it is what it is. Maybe people didn't realize. They just think they're under 21s and they didn't realize that quite how young they are. But even if they were 21s, mate, to me, any young player coming into the first team, they get back in. And I think I've told this sort of story, not story, but I've said this before, is that when young players come into the first team at most professional clubs, they get 3 or 4 games where the manager will generally, obviously can change manager to manager, but generally speaking, they're not given any tactical instructions. They're just told, you're playing here, go do your thing. And then after the 3 games, once they've settled in a bit, then they will start getting, more sort of tactical instructions about what to do and where to go. And that's why you sometimes see a young player come into the first team, do really well, because they're just playing with freedom and just going. And then as they've got more instructions, you'll see them slightly fade away a little bit or their form drops because they've got more to think about and it's different. But, for me, we should be getting right behind these young players. I don't mind people being frustrated with the way the team's playing. And don't get me wrong, it was painful last night. And it's been not good enough probably for the last 3 or 4 games overall. Even the Leyton Orient games, great to come back, great to score goals, all that. But we should never have been in that position. Like all of their goals, bar one, which he sticks in the top corner. We created their goals for them on the weekend, and I'd argue even the one he sticks in the top corner from the edge of the box, we just let him shoot instead of getting out when I'm quicker. But it's just one of those things, mate. Every team has a rocky spell, particularly when you're young. But I think this is where the manager's got to earn his keep, and he's got to get Alex Robertson fit and in that side to give it to me, Robertson. Now, if they can get him fit and playing and into the first team, it's like a new signing in the middle of the season, because we all know he's good enough. So whatever the issue is,
it's just a weird one. I know you've done a video on it the other day, but it's still a weird one for me. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. Obviously, for him to go to Australia and be called up by Australia and not have played a game for us yet is.
But there's context to that, mate, as well. So Alex qualifies for Scotland, Peru, Australia, and someone else as well. And the reason that Australia called him back up because they want him to play a competitive game, because then he can't go elsewhere. And Peru, I think, had put it in writing, like they invited him to be in their squad. So I think there is a bit of context to that. Like they haven't just picked him. I dare say if he wasn't able to play for other nations, maybe he wouldn't be in the squad. I don't know, but that's my reading of it. But equally, I agree with you that it feels like there's more to it. But I've spoken to people who work with him day in, day out. I've spoken to people who are very, very close to him, like as good as speaking to him. And they all are saying exactly the same, just in different words, that he just needs to get up to speed, pick up the intensity, all that sort of stuff. And as I've said many times, he's not the sort of guy who's like a bad egg. He doesn't do he's not out partying. He's got an oxygen chamber in his house. He's got a gym in his house. He takes it all very seriously, eats the right things. So hopefully, you got to remember as well, he's come up through Man City's academy. So even him and himself will have, he's used to high standards. So whatever it is, it may be the manager wanted to make a point because he has to leave in the summer. That seems weird to me because he wasn't the only one who has to leave. So, it is what it is, isn't it? But
it is. But it is.
I do think he'll be back after the international break, mate. I really do.
I hope so, but because I think before he got injured last season, and we all know how last season ended, but I think you mentioned it, you touched upon it earlier, David Turnbull. I think they built up a decent partnership and they were playing well together. But then they both got injured then, didn't they? I think, if my memory serves me rightly. And they just, both of them really have never really come back from, or had the opportunity to come back from that yet.
No, I agree with that, mate. Sorry, I just want to address this question quickly. Sorry. Jonathan Howell says, "Sorry, does Alex Robertson think he's above playing in League One?" So I can tell you exactly the timeline of it. At the end of last season, Alex and others, which we've talked about previously, indicated that if a bid comes in that the club is happy with, they'd like to play in the Championship. That didn't happen. Whatever clubs that come in didn't the clubs that came in didn't meet the valuation of Cardiff City, and then it got to a point where the board said that basically no one was for sale. Salic, Robertson, and they were very, very absolute in that. Soon as he was training and he was back from injury, training all through pre-season. As soon as that transfer window shut, he's there and it is what it is. He's going to get on with it, and he did. But he was injured, and he's been getting ready to play. The manager hasn't wanted him in the squad. Like, at the end of the day, I said this about Craig Bellamy last week or the week before. Managers live and die by their selections, ultimately. Now, Wales's midfield against Kazakhstan was absolutely shocking. And there was a lot of people, including myself, asking the question, would Ruben and Joel Colwell have made that midfield better? Both of those are in the Wales squad now, along with Isaac and Roland and Dylan. But obviously they got some players back as well. With Cardiff, our midfield has looked, away from home, has looked problematic. When Joel Colwell doesn't play at home, we seem to struggle. And then, Joel's young, so his form is a bit in and out as well. But generally, he's been very good. When Turnbull's played, we've struggled. So there's an obvious tempo issue in the midfield. Alex Robertson, seemingly, to me, you, everyone else, would fit that role. Like, he can play as a 6, he can play as an 8, he can play as a 10. So he fits nicely into the system. He's worked with a manager before. Now, the person who I spoke to, very close to Alex, said there's a very big possibility that it's a motivational thing whereby he's comfortable with what he's got for the time being, going into the international break and that. And he's making it so he's desperate to play. He's hungry. He's pissed off because he wants to play as well. So when he comes back, he is going to be fired up to prove a point and make a point that you should have been playing me all along. And look, if that works and he comes back and we get the absolute best version of Alex Robertson, that's not only going to benefit Cardiff City, it's going to benefit the teammates, it's going to benefit everyone. You'll say, what a masterstroke. If he comes back and he's not at it, then maybe the manager can kind of say, well, this is why he hasn't been playing. It'll be interesting how it pans out, mate. But I think...
I got a question for you, Wen, right? Who does he replace when he does come back?
So me personally, I don't know, like, there's a couple of options. You could interchange him with Ruben. I wouldn't, but you could interchange him with Joel Colwell, game to game. You could interchange him with Wintle, because I think Ryan Wintle, Joe Bagan, and Ruben, we have to rest them. We have to find a way. I was really disappointed to see Joe Bagan play last night. I didn't think there was a need for him to play, other than I think someone in the comments earlier said that TJ may have indicated that he had a bit of a knock. So I suppose there's that. But yeah, I didn't think we needed to roll out Joe Bagan for another game, when Brian Barry Murphy managed Alex Robertson previously, Alex Robertson played for him as a 6. I think, as I said in the summer, and Ryan Wintle, by the way, has done a great job. And I think even yesterday, I thought he did okay in bits. I didn't think he was as good as he's been, but I thought he was better than what was around him. And I thought he suffered because of how the players around him played. But, and this is why I said about Osho playing in the 6. This is why I said about Giabi in the summer, if they could get that over the line. And I would say the same with Alex Robertson. If you have a player who can do what Wintel's doing, but is faster, more progressive with his passing, a bit quicker, a bit skillful, a bit more technically proficient, that can transform that midfield or at least take it on to another level. But whether I don't know what Alex's best position is in terms of, because I haven't really seen him play as a 6. I'm going on what I've read, some people I've spoken to and stuff like that. But I would like to see us have a number 6 who's a little bit more athletic. That's just my personal preference, though. But that's not because Ryan Wintel's been bad. Ryan Wintel's been really, really good.
Yeah, he's been better than I thought he would be coming back in.
Yeah,
mate, I'll be honest with you. And
what would you think about Osho in the 6, just out of interest?
Difficult, mate. I'm not convinced over the last couple of performances in defence, to be honest. But I don't know. I don't know if we got better players who can play there. I've been excited about Mafiko. I wish we could see him a little bit more. Maybe again, he's another youngster. Obviously, didn't feature last night because he's with the Wales under 21s. But I think that boy's got some serious talent. And for him to, put in displays since that game that he got taken off after 31 minutes, was it, or 36 minutes? I can't remember. For him to come back and then have put a display in like he did, I think that was one of the previous cup rounds, League Cup rounds. Yeah. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's another one to be excited about, mate. And I think Brian's not afraid to use the youngsters. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I like Mafiko. I think the size is against him this year in the league, because League One's so physical. But I also believe, I said this in the summer, so I'm not saying anything particularly new. When we spoke to Darko Gyabi, he was the one I wanted. He was the midfielder that I was like, if we get him, no one will compete with that midfield because he is he can be a 6 or a box to box absolute monster. He wins duels. He's big. He's strong, physical. He's quick, but he's also really good on the ball. And if you remember, I think was it last season or the season before? Whenever he was on loan at Plymouth, he took our midfield apart. Mate. He was just very, very good. But for whatever reason, it didn't get over the line. I would love it if we went back in for him in January. What a signing that would be to bring us. And I know some people will say, oh, well, that'll block Mafiko's progress. But you've got to also look to the future. And next year, if you go into the season and your 6s are Darko, Gyabi, Mafiko, and Robertson, say, and Wintel moves on, just as an example, that's some good flipping options in the Championship, mate. So,
well, and that's the thing.
Leeds. Sorry, that was it. Leeds in the cup.
We need to start. At what point of the season then do we start looking and thinking, right? I suppose we're still early doors yet, 10, 11 games in or whatever we are. But there's got to be a point, I don't know, after Christmas, say January, where we've got to be looking potentially at, right, if we do go up, this is the type of player we need to bring in. And no doubt Brian Barry Murphy's probably, he'll have all that in place.
God, mate, they'll have that in place already. They'll have a list of January signings, loans and stuff like that. And then they'll have probably a penciled in list already of, if we go up, who's going to stay, who's going to go, who should we go for? If we don't go up, same thing. They have to, mate, because these deals take a long time, some of them. But yeah, it'd be interesting, mate. For me, I'd like to see Brian Barry Murphy. I was speaking to someone today, actually, really interesting, sort of former Cardiff City captain, actually, and it's no one that anyone would think of that's been on the channel or anything. But he was saying doesn't really fancy Chambers too much as a centre back, and he was kind of just saying like that now he feels that Brian's going to do so much for these players, the young players. You can see what he's done with Ruben already by building his belief, building his confidence, building and making the team around him. And you can see the difference. But he said, like coaching wise, he's going to do so much for these players, like they've never had before. You know, Mick McCarthy or Neil Harris or, you know, all the different managers we've had in recent years. None of them have got any time for that because they just want the player for now. But what Brian, I think, needs to do, and what this person said, was he needs to give him a bit of a kick up the arse now and say, hang on, you might have had a good start, but you've just lost 3 of 4 home games. The performances then in the games that you won, bar Wigan, haven't been good enough. And I think he needs to go back to basics and go, right, Fish and Lawler are my centre-back pairing. Kipakio or NG is my right back. Left back's Bagan, and we go with it. And he's got to build the confidence back up by doing that. But he's also got to remind X, Y, and Z, you're not meeting the standards. And I'm not talking about the kids. Same thing as last year, mate. It wasn't the young players that let us down. And I think that's what certainly frustrates me, and I'd imagine frustrates a lot of people, is the youngsters constantly seem to be stepping up.
That's why I like Joel so much in the midfield, because he just brings that energy and that hunger and the want. And like when you compare him to the likes of Turnbull, like Turnbull's been there and done it, played at like clubs like Celtic and things, and you think Joel's been with Cardiff, obviously had loan spells with Exeter and Cheltenham last year, but he just brings so much energy into that midfield. He's not afraid to put his shoulder in, his boot in. You'll get stuck in, and you know this league has proven this year that you need that energy and commitment in our midfield. And I think again, it showed last night we just didn't have it.
Yeah. So you've coached like rugby and stuff like that. When confidence takes a dip, it is difficult because you have to keep morale high and you have to build belief and do a lot of that sort of stuff. But you also want to correct what's going wrong. You also want to tell people if they're not doing things that you want them to do, or they're not doing things right or to the standard. What would you do with this squad now after recent performances, more than results? Because we've still picked up a few wins. But what would you do to try and get the belief back and the confidence back, and whether that's the selection or dealing with the players or whatever?
It's a difficult one, I think. I think just being open and honest and having them conversations, I think people will respect you more for having open and honest conversations rather than, I don't know what the process is when they do team selections. I always used to like to think that I would speak to someone if they weren't playing and explain why. And it gives them motivation. And you haven't picked me this week because I didn't do this right last week or this right. And I need to work on that. So, you're giving them the tools to kind of make you change your decision type of thing for the following week, perhaps. But it's a difficult one, mate, isn't it? He's got a lot of players to try and keep happy. Callum Robinson mentioned it a couple of weeks back that obviously in one of his press conferences, he mentioned that he would have liked to have played more football. Didn't shy away from being disappointed that he haven't played more. But he said, come 3 o'clock, he's on that touchline supporting, Salek or whoever else is playing. And I just thought he spoke so well. And, it was a team game at the end of the day. And yeah, just some honest conversations I think need to be had. But
yeah, 100%. Now, with regards to selection, right? Say we had the next league games tomorrow. Let's assume the majority of injuries and stuff as they are. What's the side that you're going to try and get the performance and the zip back in it?
Nathan Trotting goes. I think that goes without saying. I know Capacchio's been great, but I think NG have done pretty well in the couple of games he's come back in. So obviously, depending what he's like now once he comes back from international duty, but I would probably be forced to go with NG. I would like to see Fish and Lola back, Joel Bagan. Midfield then, Joel, Wintle, Isaac Davis maybe on the left. Who am I going for off the right? Kian Ashford maybe. I know he's been nursing a back injury. Did he get called up to the 21s? Did he go up after?
I don't know. I think he's gone. I don't know if he'll play though.
Yeah. And Ruben and Callum Robinson, I think. I don't know. I think Salek was disappointing last night, right? And I'm not taking it, having a personal dig at him, but I think obviously didn't have any ball. It was just poor. So I don't want to knock him too much for that, but he just didn't look with it last night for me.
Robinson, not the only one, man, did he? But...
No. But Robbo for me, they both great players, and people to say, "Oh, Salek is better than," they're two completely different strikers, in my opinion, and it's difficult to compare them. But obviously, Salek's a lot better in the air. He'll score more goals with his head. But I don't know. I haven't been convinced when they play together. See, I know obviously they both scored on the weekend against Leyton Orient. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how we go. But
what's interesting as well is like fans these days got such short memories, haven't they? Like Salic was excellent on Saturday when he came on against Leyton Orient. He was so good. And then yesterday, you got people. I heard a couple of people saying, "Oh, he's a donkey. He's rubbish. He's this," and I'm like, "Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you people?" But that's just me. Like it's my opinion. They're entitled to theirs. So obviously, I didn't say nothing. I just leave them to it. But I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Yes, he had a bad game yesterday, but I agree with someone just said in the chat last night needs to be ignored. There's so many variables that affected the performance. 9 players in the first team. Yeah. And when you include the young players that we couldn't pick as well, I think it's like 16 players who were unavailable for selection. There's no way they could prepare properly, etc. So like it is just an anomaly. Now, should they have done better, the experienced boys? Yeah, of course they should. But I think the other side of it for me in terms of selection is Callum Robinson. We know he's a streaky striker. We know he'll score 5, 6, 7 in a row. And then he'll go quiet for a bit, and then he'll do it again. So for me, while he's scoring, he's got to play because he gets you goals. And even last night, he had the ball in the net. So, like, he will score you goals. I think he's improved his link-up play massively. I would still like to see him play on the shoulder a little bit more because I think he stretches the play then to create space for others. But, yeah, like I tend to agree with the team. You said pretty much for whatever reason, Isaac seems to be a little bit more effective off the bench, just against tired defenders and being direct, which is not, you need the squad. So I don't know, too
worried about that. A good point here as well. And I regarding Chris Willock, I like Matt 11, but I would go Willock over Ashford. Still like the Willock of late. He does deliver assists and can provide goals. I
think it depends on the opposition for me because I think Willock doesn't offer as much going backwards. In modern football, it's down to the wide forwards or the wingers to protect the fullbacks. And Willock has improved that element of his game. Don't get me wrong, but Kian is very good at recovering the ball. So it depends who you're playing. Would be my opinion. But I don't disagree with that on Willock either. But then also, just going back to what I was saying about Salic, people got short memory. Like he was great on Saturday, but wasn't good yesterday. But then all of a sudden, he's rubbish now. But then Osho, as an all-time howler against Leyton Orient, but against Wigan, he was sensational. Do you know what I mean? Like people forget, like everyone has a bad day. There can be all sorts of variables and reasons and the rest of it. Yeah, Halftime Oranges says he'd make the senior players apologise to the younger ones. I think I would have last night, mate. After that game, I'd have had that. I was not happy, and I don't think the manager was happy either, because it was attitude and application, not, something. If you try your hardest and it don't work, fine, fair enough. But I think it was attitude and application that was the problem. So it is what it is, I guess.
Special shout before you go any further. A special shout out to Aaron Anderson's young boy, Iker, I think his name is. Apologies if I spelt that or mentioned that wrong, pronounced it wrong rather. Happy 10th birthday today, buddy, from everybody at Cardiff City World. Hope you've had a good day. And
Go on, the
you've
boys.
been spoiled rotten.
Yeah, that's the way. Like that.
Before I let you start again as well, are you telling people what you've got planned on Tuesday, bet you, or are you keeping it hush?
So I can't. Just dying. I hate coughing with my mic on, but it just comes so quick. Like I just haven't got a chance to mute. So I apologize to the people. Yeah, I'm not going to say what I'm doing on Tuesday, but what I can say is I'm going to an EFL football club to have a behind the scenes tour and to interview someone. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great day. I'm very privileged to have an opportunity like this, and I hope it leads to more opportunities at other football clubs, maybe a bit more local to us. But I'm excited for it, mate. It's good, and I've had a couple of other things sort of in the motions as well that we're trying to get off the ground and stuff. So stick with it. I spoke to Sean Morrison this week as well, head of our event in the end of the month. I can also tell
there's not many left. Is there?
Not many. I don't even know if there is any now. But if you want them, email Cardiff City World, and we'll try and accommodate people as best we can. The week before Sean Morrison, I am very privileged. I've been asked to host an evening with Neville Southall. It's not my event. It's someone else's event, but I've been asked to host it, which I'm very privileged to have been asked. Like, interestingly, I was second choice to present it, and this is how mental my world is now. And I say I still can't get my head around it. The original person that they were hoping to do it was Jason Mohammed, obviously, BBC, very, very, very good at what he does, a real top pro. Someone who I really got a lot of time for as well. He's unavailable, so the second on their list was me, and I was like, I don't know how that works, but
don't mind coming second to Jason Mohammed, but
no, mate, do you know what I mean? Like that's just an example of how mental my life has become, and I can't wait, mate. I've never had the privilege to do anything with Neville Southall. Very much looking forward to that. The guy's getting back to me in the morning because I believe there's a few tickets available, and he said that I can offer them to members to buy. Now, it's not my event, so if people want to come, I'd love to see him there, and of course I would. But I also understand that it's the week before the Sean Morrison one and stuff like that. So I won't be offended, like if people don't want to buy them. But if I can get people the opportunity to buy them if they want to, it sounds like it's going to be an incredible night. It'll be set out similar to the way we do ours, but I think it's like a black tie thing. So I need to find a tuxedo, but I might just go like
if
this.
If there's any sponsors out there or anybody with a menswear shop that would like to kit Simon out for the evening, get in touch.
Desperately, mate, because I haven't got a tuxedo anymore. Because you might.
If anybody could point Simon in the right way, I'm sure we could do a bit of promoting of their business through the channel.
100%, mate. Like, definitely, mate. I need a full tuxedo and shoes. No, I got shoes. But I haven't. Like, I used to have a couple of tuxedos when I was younger. Because I used to do a cricket dinner every year and a football dinner and stuff. But what's I say there? Jonathan says, "Can you get a stadium commentator Ali on to find out his views on what happened around him leaving the club?" Ali Yassin, Yeah, so I speak to Ali fairly regularly. Actually, he has been on before, but last time I spoke to him, he's not interested in addressing all that stuff, mate. Unfortunately, and as his prerogative, he's a top guy. Not only is he a top bloke who I've got so much time for, he's helped me out with advice and like tech stuff. He's got an incredible kind of studio thing himself. Like he's on an editing suite himself. He's a lovely man who I've got a lot of time for. But he was also fucking wicked at his job, and it was very poor that they got rid of him. Let alone the way they got rid of him. Everybody loved him, but it is what it is. It's part and parcel of the world, I guess. Let's take a minute to think about how Axel donks you and Robert Tankovic rocked up to school today. They were popular, mates.
Yeah, it's bonkers, isn't it? Someone just put a comment in the chat there about Axel. I'll see if I can find it.
Can you imagine if he didn't have a girlfriend yesterday, he's probably going today.
It's the last thing he wants, no mind. Keep level-headed. Keep your
Stay away from him.
Where's he gone?
They'll get you.
Oh, I can't find it. Something along the lines of, can you imagine what he's feeling like going into school this morning? When we was 15 years old in school, we was kicking a can of Coke around the playground, and he's playing for Cardiff City.
Yeah, of course, Tankovic is. He finished his GCSEs, didn't he? So he's actually in school now. He's training full time. But I mean, you get the drift. Like it's fantastic. Like I'm chuffed to bits for all of those lads, and I thought they all did pretty well. Some of them did amazing. Some of them just did well, but that's okay. Like they're so young. And like I said, mate, I was a bit irritated by some of the stuff I was hearing, but I, give people the benefit of the doubt. And I say, maybe they just thought they were like under 21s. But even so, I'm thinking, like, why would you not be more patient with an under 21 who's making his debut? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I think it's one of them things, especially, you know what it's like when you do the post-match show. Sometimes your adrenaline is still pumped from the game, and sometimes you say things perhaps that, when you look back on, perhaps you may not have said it, but I think some of the things, like you said, that was said in the stands last night and you've seen on social media today is, just wind your necks in a little bit, I think. And
do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's embarrassing, mate. Like, I get it. Like everyone's modern football fans are different now and then, but like, what happened to just being a fan, like, and supporting your team? I get it. Like, we're all frustrated, but come on. But anyway, it is what it is, mate. Wales play England tomorrow, mate. I know you don't really follow like Welsh football and that, but how do you think that game will go? Generally speaking,
if I'm being completely honest and selfish, but I hope no Cardiff City players feature whatsoever.
That's what I was about to say.
But no,
especially, I don't want anyone to play.
Is the pinnacle of their careers, isn't it? If they can get caps, Dylan Lawler outstanding in his last game he played. Obviously, a massive test against England. I think they've kind of batted below their average, so to speak. As the saying goes, but they're one of the top nations, so let's not take that away from them, as much as it pains me to say that.
I would love to see Dylan start, actually, as much as I would like a rest. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say, I just hope they all go. If they play, great, but just please come back injury-free.
Yeah, like part of me, I just don't want him to play, but there is like a part of me which is like, I want to see Dylan Lawler up against Harry Kane or whoever, like, and see if he can put in the same level of performance against someone, Harry Kane is probably the best number 9 in the world, like in recent years.
His goal scoring stats at Bayern Munich is ridiculous as well, I think.
Yeah, mate. So, from Dylan's point of view, if he can go into, if he was playing and he's marking Harry Kane and he pockets him, like, just as an example, do you know what I mean? Like, that's another fucking 10 million on his price, let me tell you. So, but like the one I really, if they don't play, I know some people will be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they haven't played." Blah blah blah. I hope they don't play a minute for Cardiff. For them, I hope they all start. I think Dylan might start, if I'm honest. The others, I wouldn't be shocked if Joel Colwell starts alongside Jordan James. It depends how fit Ethan Ampadu is. I think he started on the weekend, so they'll probably be on the bench. But
I have booked tickets for the North Macedonia game in November through Joshua's football club, so I can go into that one. So I don't normally follow, like you said, the Welsh football, but I suppose I better start now when we got 5 or 6.
It's going to be full of Cardiff players in a couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what's interesting, mate? Is the Welsh FA, they all flipping, they give tickets out to all the football clubs, all the schools. They're like constantly pushing it, get families there. Because why? Because if you get young kids there and they love it, they'll be there for life.
Joshua plays for a local club now, Cascade Football Club, and they do have 2 or 3 buses go down to every single game, which is.
And Cardiff just refused to do it, don't they? It's mad, mate. Like the refuse. I've never seen it this year. I can't remember seeing the family stand be so empty, mate. Like a couple of the games, it looks like there's like a couple of 100 people in there, and you're just thinking, why are they not giving out tickets? Just give them to the schools. Just give them free.
Yeah. Well, I did hear something on the weekend. Somebody said something to me that the school was offered 30 tickets, and only 4 people wanted them.
Jesus, crazy, innit? Crazy.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, just wanted to see if that unfroze you. Tomorrow, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do. So it was supposed to be me and Aaron, but I'm doing the Welsh podcast with Harry on Friday. So I'm going to ask the people, would you like us to do a watch along tomorrow while the Wales game's on and just have a chat? And a couple of the boys will just be on and we'll, watch the Wales game all together and have a chat. Or would you prefer I can do something pre-recorded, like half hour to 40 minutes and put it out before the game starts? Or would you rather just have a post-match show straight after the game finishes? Sort of 20, 30 minutes straight after the game and talk about it. Let me know in the comments in the next 2.5 minutes and we'll make a decision. Are you still there, mate? Because all I can see is a black screen. That's all right. I can just see a black screen.
I can see my ugly mug on mine. And
that's right, and that's fine. We're going to be wrapping up in a second now anyway. What do you in January, mate, what do you think Cardiff will do? Like, is there any players you could see going out on loan? Any players you could see being sold? Or what positions would you like to see strengthening as of today?
Difficult one for me in regards to people like Jack Annika seemed to have gone. I don't know. I think he'll be gone come January. I don't know the ins and outs.
There's some other stuff with Jack going on, but yeah, I would imagine he's probably one which is going to go. He wasn't in the team photo, so clearly not in the plans. And even when they've brought in like other goalkeepers, they brought in Dennis, haven't they?
And it's like missing from the team photo. You would, I don't know. I don't know. It's just little things like that. You kind of, I know sometimes you put 2 and 2 together and come up with 6, and that's dangerous. But I don't know. And I think he's been a great servant for us. I know some people will probably disagree. But for me, when he played down in Plymouth last year, me and Josh went down to watch our one. I think he pulled his hamstring with something like, probably about 15, 20 minutes ago, because I think they played like 10 minutes injury time. And you could see, he was literally, I think we'd used all our subs, because I think that game Joe Rolls had pulled his calf muscle in the warm-up. And we'd used all our subs, so he had to kind of stay on the field. And that epitomizes everything you want from a Cardiff City player, really.
Of course, yeah.
So, yeah, I'd be disappointed to see him go, really. But obviously with Nathan Trott potentially being a permanent signing next year.
Don't tempt fate.
Yeah, I won't say no more on that then.
Yeah, a few people saying they think Turnbull will go. A couple of people saying that we need a left back. I mean,
It'll be interesting with a left back, especially after you mentioned about the young man who played last night, and I again thought he was outstanding. So it'll be interesting to see how he develops, and if he does get any more chances with the first team now, between now and the end of the season, really. So
yeah, especially because Louis Giles nearly went on loan in the summer, so they obviously were comfortable at some point in letting Giles go, or they were looking for a loan for him. So maybe the plan is TJ Parfit. I don't know. It's interesting. I think a few people saying Turnbull and Chambers, but I'm hoping that we see. I'm hoping we start to see Lawler and Fish week in, week out, and then maybe Osho now and
just
again.
a bit of just an experienced head, I'd like in that middle, and I'm not, Wintell's not that type of player because he's shown glimpses that he can be, but I think in certain times this season so far, I wouldn't have been disappointed seeing a Joe Rolls come off the bench for the last 15, 20 minutes at times. I just think we've allowed that man to walk away from our club. And I think he could have done a job for us this year. Lots of people might disagree with me, but I just think we probably missed out a little bit on that.
Well, let me tell you that. Let me ask you this, then, mate. Right? And by the way, I got a lot of time for Joe Rolls. I really like him. I think he's a tremendous servant to the football club. But I think it was time to move on for both sides. He hasn't got a club, mate. Do you not think that speaks volumes in terms of where he's at with his career and things like that? And
yeah, maybe, but it's difficult.
It's his injuries, I think, is the problem, isn't it? If he could be fit week in, week out, I think I would maybe agree that he'd be a good option off the bench. I just think we need more dynamic midfielders, mate. Like if you think how slow we've been when we've been poor this year, if you put Rolls in there, we'd be even slower. And I think that's where the issue is.
What's your opinion on the Luton midfielder, Welshman Tom Lockyer? He's been given the all clear to play again. Do you think that's a massive gamble? Well, it's not only a massive gamble to a club to take a punt on him, but it's a massive gamble for him himself. He's obviously gone down twice and had 2 heart attacks. It's just bonkers for me.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, mate, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, like, it's life and death for him, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the next time he goes down, he might not get back up, like.
Yeah, well, funny enough, in about 2 weeks or so, I'm going to be meeting him, so I'll ask him. Because I'd be really interested. He is someone that I've wanted to interview, actually, so I'm hoping that we're going to be at a mutual thing. So I'm hoping that I can meet him and get the opportunity to have a chat and hopefully get the opportunity to to interview him in the future. But I think he's a good footballer, like, but the player we should have got about probably 18 months ago was Barry Bannon. That was the footballer that we should have got. When his contract was up, he was the player we should have got. And I think he'd have been perfect for what we're trying to do now. Maybe he's still available because Sheffield Wednesday are absolutely shambolic. Did you see their fans go on the pitch protesting the other day?
I've seen little clips of it on Facebook. I didn't actually see the footage, but yeah, it's bonkers.
It's not. It's not often you have like a pitch invasion like that by fans, and then the opposition fans cheer it. Do you know what I mean? Like they were all like clapping them and stuff. Most people, I think, are behind Sheffield Wednesday, even though I'm not a massive fan of them. I haven't liked some of the things they've done over recent years. From a historical point of view and the fans' point of view, I hope that they don't. I'd be gutted if they went under, mate. I really would, because they're such a big historical club. And I was saying to Reese earlier on text, like, we've got like 140 million worth of debt, and I don't give a shit how our board and owner tries to spin it and say, oh, it's risk-free. If Vincent Tan loses interest in Cardiff City, or he gets bored, or he gets to a point where he's no longer able to run it, and it's run by his kids, we are completely screwed, to say the least. So, yeah, I would love to see him turn his debt to equity very quickly, but it is what it is, mate, isn't it? It's something that we can't.
It is what it is.
So just lastly, I will answer that question from Sue because we had a good view of that. Sue said, what happened to the fan who came on the pitch yesterday? It was actually quite amusing. So Newport scored. Tom Davis celebrated. Why wouldn't he? We let him go. We broke his heart, not the other way around. We should have kept him, by the way, because he would have been great backup to Joe Bagan. But anyway, that's another story. And this guy ran on a pitch. He wasn't going for Tom. Like, he just seemed, I don't know what he was doing. He ran on the pitch though, and the steward, the one that wears the boots, absolutely mollywopped him, like spear tackled him to the floor. And the guy after that was not happy. He was really, really aggressive. They had to bring an extra steward over, so there was like 3 of them dragging him off, and he was not happy camper. I don't think he appreciated the spear. I don't really get it, mate. Like,
5-year ban incoming, though.
Clearly Cardiff fan. He'd be banned for life, mate, if he was aggressive as well. And he seemed to be swinging his arms around like it's what it is, mate. But like, he's done, and he ain't watching Cardiff at home or away for a long time. And he'll be lucky if he don't get, if it's the minimum is a fine, isn't it? Like, you get jail. So yeah, I don't really get it, mate, if I'm honest, but it was his choice.
It was.
So just what's that now? Jamie says, if I go too far, lads, on a member show, tell me to chill out. But I really enjoyed the show, to be honest. Thanks to all the members and lads for making it fun and different. Indeed. Good to hear it, innit? So yeah, tomorrow, everyone in the comments said post-match show. So I'll just do a post-match thing after the game tomorrow. Roberto can have a night off. Or if he wants to jump on with me, he can jump on with me. Matthew, when are you back?
I don't know, but actually, I'm no doubt we'll be back on Saturday, myself and Reese, for something. Obviously, no Cardiff game this weekend, but we'll figure something out, mate. I'm sure we can talk about something.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I'll be back on Sunday with the breakdown. When's the Belgium game? Anyone tell me that off the top of their heads very quickly? So yeah, we'll do a post-match show tomorrow. There'll be some videos coming out at lunchtime as well. In a cup of tea with Si, I'll be back in the morning. I've been enjoying doing them. I'll be back in the morning. We'll have a lunchtime video, and then we'll have the post-match show. Friday is the Cymru and Birth podcast. Saturday I'll be 927 Club, and Sunday will be the breakdown. Monday will be the Cardiff City phone in, and then Tuesday we'll have Cymru and Birth. And on Tuesday night I'll be posting some stuff on socials for what I was doing all day. Really looking forward to that. And there'll be a vlog for members. I don't really like doing vlogs because I'm not very good at them, but I got my
practice makes perfect, mate. Practice makes perfect.
Yeah. And I'd be stupid not to do a vlog where I'm going, innit? So it's going to be fun.
I can't believe we're catching the train to Swansea, but that's shocking.
I know, innit? I'm going to walk in there with my Cardiff City shirt and be like, what's happening, boyos? Yeah, so there's lots of stuff happening. If you are a member and you fancy Nether South all evening, I will find out about that tomorrow, and I'll send a post out. But like I said, it's not my event. I am just hosting it, so I shan't be in charge of the logistics. But it's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. And if you run a shop which rents tuxedos and you want to sponsor a show, get in contact, because I don't have one. Thank you very much. Matthew, over to you to close us off because my screen's frozen.
Yeah, I just noticed my signal come up and said weak signal, but
You've just been a black screen for like the last 10 minutes.
Never mind. Nobody wants to see my ugly mug any more than they've got to. But no, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in and supporting the channel. If you do want to become a member, if you're tuning in for the first time tonight, you can see the information going across the bottom of the screen. Any help and support you can provide for the channel for the price of a cup of coffee a month. You can obviously support the channel, and it'll allow Si to keep creating content 7 days a week. By the fans, for the fans. Thanks for all your support. I'll speak to you soon.
Right. In a bit. This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans, for fans, balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.